Gaming news, man.
Gaming news.
This week.
If you thought things were off to a
uh,
slow start in the world of gaming, holy shit. This week was,
surprise. I
my
mean,
God.
it's what the third week of January. Microsoft thought, we're just gonna dominate the year. That we're just
Yeah,
gonna
essentially.
we're gonna
This
just.
is this is all we're going to talk about for the next year. Um,
So if you have missed it somehow, you're a gamer and you've been sleeping for the last week and you've woken up. Somebody woke you up and said, "Oh my God, you won't believe what happened. Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard,
or are planning to
or
buy.
planning
Yeah.
to, yeah, in a deal that is valued at nearly $70 billion."
I take issue with that rounding up because it's
Yeah, it's
68.7. Like
and
1.3
I'm
billion is a
sorry.
lot of dollars. Like,
Can we please just not round it up to 69 and just
I know.
call it a nice deal? Like, whose dumb
Why
idea
didn't
was
they just do the math to make sure that that was the purchase amount? Like,
words out of my mouth?
you were 300 million off. You could have just done it. Like, if
Just
you're
round it
spending
up.
that much money, just do it. Like,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
that is an obscene
It's
amount of money.
it's insane. It is Microsoft, like TM's biggest acquisition ever, not
But
Xbox, like Microsoft as a company.
yeah, but I would say, I mean, look, I don't know what's the record for the highest paid acquisition, but shit, this is in my head. This is
Must
like
be up
top
there,
top
yeah.
10 stuff. Like $70 billion is
It's a lot.
crazy.
I mean, it absolutely dwarfs everything,
How
at
much did
least
they
in gaming.
pay for Bethesda?
7
They
7 billion,
they paid
yeah.
10 times. I mean, even
And
when they bought Bethesda, it's like, 7 billion. Like
yeah,
it's
7
not
billion
it's
sounded
not
like a
pocket
lot.
change.
Like,
Yeah,
even then, like, and I mean, the week before, Take-Two purchased Zynga for 12 billion, which seemed like an obscene amount for a mobile-only studio or entity. Yeah, and Microsoft 70 billion, or nearly
so
70 billion.
you're not living in an alternate reality. Xbox slash Microsoft now owns. Well, not yet. You're right. Sorry, the deal's only going through next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
they at the very latest, June
Okay.
2023. This
But
is like Bethesda. It will take a long time. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
so when slash if it goes through, I don't see an issue with it going through.
I
But
don't see it. Yeah.
when that happens, Xbox will own Overwatch and Diablo and Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. And I love this part of the image, Candy Crush
Well, yeah,
and
yeah.
StarCraft, which
Because I
is,
mean, it's Activision, Blizzard, and King,
yeah,
ABK. Um,
it's
yeah, and I
just,
mean, King makes tons of money.
I
So
just
yeah,
love this image where it's like, it's Tracer and it's Diablo and it's this Captain Price and we've got,
yeah,
what's her face?
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas, and we've got Candy from Candy Crush, and then Jim Raynor from StarCraft.
Oh my
It
God,
is. It's
it is
such a
very
weird
good.
thing. You'd think you've woken up from a fever dream because an acquisition like this, it sounds like a rumor. And before
I
the
mean, it
deal,
started on the Monday or the
it,
Tuesday, and it was just like a tweet being like,
yeah,
"There's a report that this might happen," and literally like 10 minutes later, it was like, "Yeah, it's confirmed." I was
yeah.
like,
Because I
holy
read that,
shit!
I was like, that is quite a rumor. Like I
Yeah,
don't know if it's
it's a bit
true,
out
but
there,
Activision Blizzard, like, I'm sorry, when I think Activision, like just World of Warcraft and Call of Duty
Mm,
alone are huge money makers. So I'm
massive.
like I know Microsoft's got huge money. Okay, we know this, but to buy them that's like a power move. They're not going to do that. And then,
Oh,
like you
it is.
said, 10 minutes later, I don't know. I
I
have
mean,
to.
last year there were those rumors that Microsoft might buy EA, and even I was like, "That's too big. Like, there's no way they're
There
gonna
were
do that."
rumors
So,
in December that about a Ubisoft acquisition as well because of Rainbow Six Extraction being, a
Xbox,
Game Pass
yeah.
exclusive and Ubisoft getting some integration with Game Pass. I mean, even that was like, "Phew, are they going to buy Ubisoft?" But then just shove those under the rug.
But we can't overlook the fact that this acquisition. So, firstly, Microsoft came to Activision looking to buy. It wasn't the other way around. Whereas with Bethesda, Bethesda was
Bethesda,
looking
like,
for a
please,
buyer.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, and this is only really made possible by the tumultuous year that Activision has had. With the
mm,
all the workplace abuses and sexual assault allegations that have taken place at the company. I mean, it tanked their stock price to from $104, I think, down to
yeah,
nearly 50. So when you think of Microsoft is paying reportedly around $20 to $40 a premium on each share, the total price that they're paying is still lower than what Activision's share price was a year ago.
Yeah.
So,
well, when you wrap it up like that, they bought Activision Blizzard at half price. Good job, Microsoft.
I mean, I think if last year didn't happen, if the state of California didn't choose to sue Activision, this purchase would have not happened. Like, it just wouldn't have. So,
yeah, but this
yeah.
is.
I mean, it seems like Bobby Kotick will be. There's no confirmation. Like, so this is the thing: Microsoft and Activision can't talk about this until this is done, because anything they say affects the current stock price. And it's the same reason why I think last week Phil Spencer was asked about like what is Microsoft doing in response to all the Activision allegations and stuff, and he basically gave the most vague answer. He was like, we are evaluating our relationship with them. Because if he had said something that indicated one way or the other, like it would have been seen as like insider trading, you know what I mean? Because he would have affected the stock price knowing this information. But yeah, I mean, it seems like Bobby Kotick will be leaving once this deal goes through. Microsoft has definitely adopted a big problem that needs to be solved as well. We can't overlook that. It's not just like overnight things at Activision are better. There's like a systemic problem there. And now for the next 15 months, all discussions are going to be like, will they make exclusives or not? And that's already like dominated most of this week. Like everyone looked at Phil Spencer's statement this week saying he's chatted with Sony, and
that's this piece over here.
Yeah, let me read his tweet verbatim here because it's.
Where is it? Oh, is it not here? It should be here. Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of the industry and we value our relationship. Now, a lot of people took that as confirmation for Call of Duty staying on PlayStation. I don't know where they get that, because this tweet has two very important words here: intent and desire.
Yeah.
And that to me reads like, we want to. Sony needs to agree to whatever terms we've presented to them. And also existing agreements. We don't know what contract Sony has with Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, yeah.
They've been the marketing partner for them for a long time. So maybe that deal extends to 24, 25, and maybe that means Microsoft can't make them, exclusive. Just like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo when the Bethesda deal went through. So
yeah,
I don't know. Who knows? We had this exact same discussion last year when everyone was like, man, they can't remove Elder Scrolls from PlayStation. They're leaving so much revenue on the table. And Microsoft fucking did it. They did all the numbers and they were like, yeah, it's worth it.
You see, I hear that, but when it comes to Call of Duty, a part of
it's a much bigger thing.
A part of me does feel like, would it not just be better to keep like whatever you go and you make a whole lot of other titles with Activision, Blizzard, whatever, but we know that Call of Duty, I mean, here's a good example. Vanguard came out last year, one of the quote unquote worst Call of Duties in recent years, still selling top 10 lists on.
Yeah, I think it's like the top.
It's like second, I think.
On PlayStation 5 store. Yeah,
I mean, it's selling big time. I mean, would it not just make sense to go, well, we own Call of Duty, you can get it on Game Pass for free or buy it on PlayStation at full price, and you're still going to sell millions. Like, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what they do. But
I see that argument. Right. I think this is also. I listen a lot to the podcast, Giant Bombs podcast, and Jeff Gertzman and Jeff Grubb, to like industry vets, which you don't get quite often. They both seem to agree that this is a sort of like potentially a power move to force Sony to put a Game Pass something on PlayStation. Because to me, Bethesda was a means to drive Game Pass subscriptions. I don't think you pay this much money knowing that Call of Duty is the big win in this deal, and then release it still. Yeah. Like, no, fair. You want to drive subs somewhere. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
And if Sony doesn't want to play ball, then Microsoft has this really easy out saying, we wanted to. They didn't play ball.
They didn't, yeah. 100%.
So yeah, I think at the very least Warzone doesn't go away. I
Yeah, I
think
think
Warzone is a
yeah.
thing that just stays, and maybe Call of Duty. There's already rumblings that it will move away from a yearly cycle, a yearly release cycle, which I think is
Thank God.
the best thing. Like
Yeah.
the number of, I mean, every Activision studio is working on Call of Duty. So I tweeted this out earlier in the week. I was like, remove Call of Duty as a annual title, make it like every 2 or 3 years, like a Battlefield,
Mm.
and get the studios to look at all this new IP that Microsoft has just bought and be like, what can we do with this? What new games can we create that again will deliver value to Game Pass? So I mean, get Raven working on something, get Infinity Ward putting out a new IP. Like holy shit, they
Yeah.
I
It's
don't think Call of Duty is the treasure trove here. It's the rest, it's the
exactly.
teams.
Yeah,
So
but I think we can
yeah.
both agree it's look, there are people have pros and cons to this acquisition, but I like to think that it's very exciting for that reason that
Mm,
it's not that Activision Blizzard is not creative, but it feels like they've just been the Call of Duty machine predominantly, and
and they've been in
we've got
trouble.
they've been in trouble, but it feels like this acquisition is a great move because what if Microsoft just greenlights a whole lot of new projects? Like they dig into maybe, dig into an archive of existing IPs or just, spin up new ones. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny because the biggest criticism of Xbox over the past few years, I mean, and I'm one of those critics, is like we only get Halo and Forza and Gears and all these like these repeat franchises, which isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't it doesn't pull me over to Xbox when all you're offering is the same thing. Now we've got a whole lot of Bethesda studios, a whole lot of other studios like Double Fine, obviously has put out Psychonauts, some other smaller studios,
Got
and now the
Ninja
whole
Theory,
Ninja Theory.
like
You've got Activision. It's like Phil Spencer just looked at the problems like the only way we solve this is just by snapping up as many studios as we can.
I
And
mean,
it's
at least in the short term, because
yeah,
you don't develop a company on the level of a Naughty Dog overnight.
no,
That is decades of work. You know what I mean?
exactly. But I
So
mean, think of what the future of Game Pass looks like now.
yeah.
It's
But like
insane.
I was just gonna say, you say that you've never been drawn to Xbox because of the exclusives, but you have been subscribed to Game Pass for over a year now,
True.
and that's what they want.
Exactly.
That is their play. That is different from Sony. And I don't think Sony needs to respond identically. You know what I mean? I
No.
think Sony's got their Game Pass quote unquote competitor Spartacus coming out apparently later this year. But even from the details that have leaked, whether they are still accurate or not, it doesn't sound like a Game Pass competitor because Sony's not putting their games day and date on that service because they can't afford to. They are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these games and they need them to sell.
Yeah.
They just do not have the capital to put them on that service. So I don't think Sony comes out and says, well, we are changing our Spartacus plans in wake of this. I think they need to now have very frank discussions with Xbox and be like, this is a big blow to them. Like we said, it's the top selling game on PS4 and PS5 in the calendar year. So if that is not going to come to their consoles, that is a big chunk of revenue that's just gone from them. So yeah, we'll see. And for all intents and purposes, Sony's exclusives are fantastic games.
Exactly.
But if you look at the top 20 list, the only one there which is actually surprising is Miles Morales, which has some legs.
I think it's only there now again because of the Spider-Man movie. I think
it could, that's also true. That's also true.
A lot of people.
But,
I mean, I left that movie as like I should play Miles Morales and Spider-Man again.
Yeah. And Deathloop was only 18th. Like these exclusives are good, but they do not make the type of money back that these exclusives are there to sell the hardware, and then the hardware is there to sell these games that are ultra popular.
Well,
it's not the other way around. Yeah,
I think God of War is a good example because like that's probably one of the best-selling Sony games, and I think I'm thumb sucking, but it's probably on like 15, 20 million.
Yeah, and
copies.
That's fucking great for
really
an exclusive.
Good.
But yeah,
but now think of a Call of Duty, which sells that, if not more, every single year. God of
Yeah.
War came out 4 years ago.
Exactly. That's the thing.
So,
It's consistent. And,
yeah.
when you think about God of War PS4, the PS4 is what reached over 100 million units. 15 million is very good and it
Yep.
returns on that investment, no problem. But the attach rate is tiny.
Yep.
It's 1 in every 10 almost,
Yeah, whereas like maybe again, thumbs like 1 every 4 PlayStation people will buy Call of Duty. It's just
Exactly.
way
So
bigger.
it's just a different calculation. So
Yeah.
I'm already a bit tired of all these. Every day there seems to be a new read on some like very vague quote that seems to like extrapolate some confirmation from there. Microsoft and Activision can't confirm anything because Microsoft doesn't own this entity yet. They cannot make decisions before they do that. So Phil Spencer can come in and say he intends to do this or desires to do X.
Yeah, but you can't put in stone.
Go back a year and a half and read his statements when they acquired Bethesda. They are scary similar, like almost identical. And we all know what happened when that deal went through. So I don't see why it would be different, to be honest. But we'll see.
And last thing on this, so we're not going to go through all of this, but just if you're a video viewer, here's a list of all the studios Microsoft owns now.
Oh well, yeah. Let's go through it because they own
a lot.
They own more than Sony now. So 343 Industries currently working on Halo. Activision Blizzard, which itself
consists of
is so many developers: Raven, Infinity War, Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games, so many. Alpha Dog Games, they work on some mobile stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Arcane, which are working on Redfall and I presume a new IP. Bethesda Game Studios working on Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Compulsion Games, I can't recall, they announced something, but I can't recall what it was. Double Fine just put out Psychonauts 2. Its software must be, there's rumblings that they're working on Quake.
Oh, yeah. Who's doing Indiana Jones then? Is that just
Machine Games?
Oh, is it Machine? Oh, okay, that's further down. Cool.
In Exile Entertainment, they do Wasteland. I'm not sure what they work on currently. Machine Games working on Indiana Jones. Mojang.
We forget
Minecraft.
this one as well. Minecraft is also like a
huge Minecraft one.
Huge.
And, a lot of people point towards Minecraft, as a template for what will happen with Call of Duty. Entirely possible. So yeah. Ninja Theory working on Hellblade 2. Obsidian Entertainment, they're working on Avowed. And Grounded. Yeah. Playground Games working on Fable. And I assume another Forza Horizon. Rare is working on, what is that game? Everwild, I think it's called. Roadhouse Studios, not entirely sure.
Yeah, a lot of these I don't actually know.
Tango Gameworks is Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay. Which, sorry, just on that, there were rumors of it coming out in March already?
Yeah. That would be cool. I'm down for that. The Coalition working on new Gears stuff. I'm pretty sure there's a new Gears coming. I would not be shocked if that's revealed this year. The Initiative is working on Perfect Dark, if I'm not mistaken. The reboot of that. 1010 Studios, Forza Motorsport, that's coming out this year. Undead Labs did State of Decay, and I think they're working on more of that. World's Edge, I have no idea. Xbox Game Studio Publishing is just publishing lots of exclusives, and ZeniMax Online, Fallout 76.
Who did Age of Empires? Is that not just Xbox Game Studios?
It might be Xbox Game Studios Publishing, It might be. ZeniMax is also, they do Elder Scrolls Online. So, yeah. I mean, you look at that.
That's a list and a half.
A lot of these are also games that are going to start being revealed this year. Like, this year, Microsoft can start giving real good looks at Perfect Dark, at Fable. I'm sure they're going to show off Forza Motorsport 8. And maybe whatever its software is working on.
Also,
Redfall,
yeah, I'm sure we'll see actual gameplay this year.
These deals are starting to kick off now, and in a year or two, you're going to get an Xbox exclusive game dropping on Game Pass every 2-3 months. And that's the cadence they've been building up to. These things...
I mean, last year was already a very solid year for Xbox, but not particularly the first half of the year, but the second half was
I thought it was super strong. Yeah,
Age of Empires 4, Forza Horizon, Halo Infinite, and what did I
Psychonauts
forget?
2.
Psychonauts 2. I mean,
Yeah.
that was 4 big games in 6 months.
And then
And
on top of it, the Bethesda deal closing, so all of those
that was
Bethesda
just
games
added,
coming to Game Pass, yeah. And I mean, Deathloop came out, and yes, it was a PS5 exclusive, but the way it
But
was received means good things for the game when it comes to
when
Xbox.
Deathloop
So,
won awards, it's Microsoft winning awards, sorry to say.
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting.
So yeah, we spent a lot of time on that, but because it's big news, like it's
Yeah, it is
what a way to
industry shifting news, and
what a way to start
a lot
the
of
year.
people going, oh, antitrust and monopolistic behavior, and I definitely was thinking that when the news first came out, but I've read a lot of articles now, good journalistic outlets reaching out to actual lawyers who are involved in this sort of thing. And I haven't seen one lawyer suggesting that this will be an issue, because a lot of people saying that this is what they call like vertical growth. So it is not something that will affect Sony, and there's still tons of competition. There's hundreds of studios making games, multiple publishers.
Exactly.
There's no way that.
I mean, and you said Xbox owns more studios than Sony now. I mean, I don't know what the raw numbers, but Sony also has a fair share of studios.
Sony's annual revenue. I mean, Daniel Ahmad, he's an industry financial analyst on Twitter. He was using 2020 numbers to kind of approximate where this would put Microsoft, because Microsoft before this acquisition was the 4th largest revenue maker if you just look at games in the world. Top is Tencent, second was Sony, third was Nintendo, fourth was Microsoft. This puts them third. They still, based on his estimates, behind Sony in terms of annual revenue. So like you can't argue monopoly when you see figures like that, in my view.
It's my favorite part of this acquisition is that Nintendo can keep doing its own thing.
Nintendo just fucking trucks along.
Nintendo just does its own thing, doesn't care.
Reset Era was like having a fucking nightmare situation. They were like, should Sony and Nintendo team up to take down Microsoft? It's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, they are totally fine. Like, Call of Duty is a big problem for Sony to solve, but it is not we are going to stop making PlayStations kind of.
I don't think this is the PlayStation killing move.
Nah, not at all. No.
People forget how big PlayStation is, I think. I don't know, it's on surface level you panic, but when you look at the raw numbers, it's like PS4 outsold Xbox hugely last generation.
And
it's
I think a lot of people are rightly concerned about the conglomeration of all gaming underneath the umbrella of 2 or 3 companies, But at the same time, every time this happens, you see top executives and top designers stay there for 6 months, get a good payout because it's probably baked into their contract, and leave and then start up a new studio. It's happened a lot with Bethesda. So and it happened a lot with Activision Blizzard last year when they were going through all this shit. Like there was like a month last year where there were like 2 studio openings a week. So like, it's fine.
If you want more insight into that, over the holiday I read Press Resets. Good book by Jason Schreier.
Yeah,
and
very good.
Where his first book, every chapter was about a game being developed. This book
game
follows
success usually, yeah.
Yeah, this book follows a different formula in that it follows people and studios, and it's quite something to see turnover and how being acquired by a big conglomerate can result in good and bad things. So
and for what it's worth, all the studios that have been quite vocal about Microsoft have been very positive. I mean, Tim Schafer has said that they can make the games they want with the stability they want now.
Yeah,
so that can always change. And at the end of the day, all of these are money moves. Yes, there is capitalism baked into this, but it's interesting. Interesting time in games right now. Yeah.
Okay, let us fly through the rest of this news. So just one thing tied to that acquisition, well, not tied to it, but coming from it, is QA testers at Activision Blizzard's Raven Software announced intent to unionize.
They've been striking since December.
Yeah.
I think this was like week 7 or 8 of them striking. So yeah, this is great. This is good to see.
And it's worth pointing out that unions exist in gaming, not in America though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
when we say it's like a first union or whatever, we're talking
in
about
America.
America because there are
Yeah.
unions for studios in Europe pretty
Mm,
abundantly.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
So yep.
America that is the real issue with this. But yeah, I mean, this has been brewing. They've been striking for a while now. Warzone is in a bit of a state because of this as well, um, which just highlights how important the role of QA is
Mm,
in the pipeline. So yeah, I mean, real respect to these workers really going out on a limb and doing this.
mm.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
it works out.
In PlayStation news, next month we're getting Horizon Forbidden West. So I've not watched this
Oh yeah.
trailer,
Neither
but
have I. Oh no.
okay, so we're not gonna watch it for spoiler reasons. But there's a new story trailer, which obviously is just driving hype for the game, which is out in,
Mm,
is it like 2 or 3 weeks? It's right
yeah,
around the
very
corner.
soon. Very soon.
Um,
They announced some new cast members. I know Carrie Ann Moss from The Matrix is
mm,
voicing a character here. That's cool.
very
Uh,
cool.
yeah,
I
I'm super stoked for this game. Very
this
excited.
particularly why I'm excited for this game, because I think when Horizon Zero Dawn came out, it came out alongside Breath of the Wild, and a lot of people looked at Breath of the Wild, said, "That's cool, I can do whatever I want," and then they played Horizon, thought, "This is cool, but I can't climb whatever I look at," which it was just at the time Breath of the Wild really
Mm,
broke that barrier. But if you've watched any footage of the new Horizon, Aloy
yeah,
has a hand glider, which is very much like, "Hello, Breath of the Wild. Thanks for the
yeah.
idea."
What makes me laugh about that hang glider is like when she pulls it out and opens it, like the parachute material is like holograms of light. How is that catching air? Like,
This is the future. We don't ask questions.
it's just
In
like,
a world
it
with
looks
robot dinosaurs, you don't
it
dare
looks
ask
fucking
such.
cool, but there's some physics that aren't
I know it
happening there.
doesn't make
Like,
any sense. But yeah, I'm keen to see, because don't get me wrong, Horizon Zero Dawn, I loved that game. I played it like a year after the
mm,
fact, loved the hell out of it. I'm just keen to see them take that formula and evolve
yeah.
it with lessons from Breath of the Wild and other games that have come out since then.
And
So,
also, like, this is the power of the sequel. I mean, if you look back at some of the most successful franchises that Sony has done,
mm,
your Uncharted's, your Last of Us, they really fucking peak in the
they,
sequel. Like, they
yeah,
are good opening games,
mm,
but the sequel, I mean, Last of Us 2 and Uncharted 2 are marked like
really,
improvements
yeah.
over the first game. So yeah, and Horizon Zero Dawn was a big shift in game design for Guerrilla. They had never done a game like
They
that.
they
So
did shooters.
yeah, they did Killzone and they did
I mean,
shooters,
come on.
and then they transitioned to a very heavy action open world game.
And they did
So
it
yeah,
very
I
well, can we
I
just
have a
say.
lot of faith in this thing like hitting all the right marks. I'm very keen to play
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
In Nintendo news. But Pokemon Arceus is come out next week. But if you want something to play in February,
Oh yeah,
we're going back to the past. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
the best Zelda.
I
You
know.
heard it here, folks.
Can I? Okay, now I'm gonna slap some controversy on you here. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I've not played Majora's Mask,
I know, I know. I mean, there's
so
a lot of games you haven't played that are
there's a
very
lot.
good.
I know.
So,
I know. I've got to play catch up here. But I did laugh because you're like the best Zelda game. I was like, excuse me, Breath of the Wild, Wild exists. How dare you, sir? But
I
like
I
you
really love this
you
game.
pointed out
Yeah.
though that the 3DS
Mm.
remake slash remaster is probably the better one to
Yeah,
play.
I mean, it's a lot better. I mean, the N64 ones you get on Switch are, the originals. So if you want to
OG.
be a purist about that, but
What is
like
what is the first N64 title? That first Zelda one, I mean.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I started that just to see what it looked like. I was like, oof, this is
Yeah,
very
they,
old,
yeah, it's
and
very.
I just don't know if
And,
I'll get into
and
this.
again, if you want to play Ocarina of Time for the first time, I would say play it on the 3DS as well. The
Mm,
remake there. That's where I played it first.
mm,
Um, and the same with Majora's Mask. There's just some features that are better in the remake. Like they give you certain quality of life items that make navigating the time loop aspect a bit more manageable.
mm,
And it just looks better, I think. So yeah, it's good though. I think Majora's Mask is like Ocarina of Time, but just better.
mm.
It's also one of the few Zelda games where Zelda like does not feature like at all.
Oh, Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Majora's Mask is like contained to a town and the problems in that town. It is very much not a Ganon and Hyrule big adventure. And I think maybe that's why I like it. There's still some world-ending shit happening, but yeah, it's cool. And
Just
it's
no
probably got
Zeldas.
the best villain in the Zelda franchise with Skull Kid. So
Nice.
yeah, very good game. Very, very good game.
On Switch news, the Switch killer
Boom!
coming out next month, the Steam Deck. So if you don't know what the Steam Deck is, it's basically Valve's mobile PC gaming device. If I can, well, not PC
Running
gaming,
on
but you know what I
Linux.
mean.
Yeah.
But because it is a mobile device with access to a library of tens of thousands of games, that obviously have to go through some compatibility shenanigans. So the news
And
this
because
week,
it's running on Linux. Yeah.
So the news this week is that the first batch of compatibility rated games are now available for viewing. 67 rated so far, 39 passing with flying colors. And if you want to get into the nitty gritty, I think if I recall reading that there are 4 tests or something that these games have to pass.
Okay.
So if where was it? Yeah, a game must first pass 4 checks. All functionality must be accessible when using the machine's default controller configuration. Steam Deck controller icons must be shown in-game. Interface text must be legible on the display screen, and the default graphics configuration must perform well.
Wow, the default graphics, that's a high bar for some games. Like,
So yeah, so
wow.
when you say a game passes with flying colors, you say, oh, only 39 out of 67. Like, that's not actually a high number. It's because it ticked all full boxes. You might have a game that only, it ticks all boxes, but the text isn't as legible on the screen. So it's definitely playable.
Like you can see there in the other, the next paragraph, it says at the end there, as for Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, some in-game text may be small and difficult to read, so it doesn't get a flying colors because of that. You know what I mean?
So the point is that the Steam Deck is looking real hot because games are working fine on it.
Oh my God, look there, Castle Crashers, Matt.
Celeste.
Take it
Death's Door.
Death Stranding. Wow, that is...
My goodness. Yeah, I mean, so verified. I mean, I don't know where Death Stranding didn't get flying colors, but you can play it on the Steam Deck.
Portal 2. Psychonauts 2.
I mean, look at this list. These are some great games you can play on the go now. Only weird thing, unsupported, Persona 4 Golden. I don't know why.
That is strange, yeah.
But it did not pass the test.
Why is Job Simulator there? That's a VR game. So is Budget Cuts and Arizona Sunshine.
This article does mention that some games are VR, which is like, what? Yeah, look, of the 5 titles currently listed as unsupported, 4 aren't much of a surprise given they're designed for VR headsets.
Oh, that makes no sense to me. Okay. Weird.
So however, the one oddity arrives in the form of Persona 4 Golden, with Valve merely noting it's still working on adding Steam Deck support. And then, like I said earlier, this is 67 games of approximately 50,000. So,
I mean, the beauty of the Steam Deck is like Valve is saying, well, you can try anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. The biggest bugbear right now seems to be anti-cheat. So a lot of multiplayer games aren't working at all because they need anti-cheat, and anti-cheat, the level of integration on Linux is just not good enough. So in December, I don't know if this is true now, but I haven't seen anything to indicate otherwise. The top 5 of the top 10 games played on Steam right now will not work on the Steam Deck. Like outright will not work. Because it's stuff like Call of Duty Warzone and Battlefield and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds that require these anti-cheats. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. And everyone says, yeah, you can download Windows, which is true, but you've got to remember that on this hardware, Linux is chosen because it's lightweight. As soon as you load Windows, you're sacrificing performance. Like you are going to. So yeah. Ooh, Sekiro Shadows died twice.
I mean, Dark Souls is here as well. Look, I'm just I can't say I'm gonna buy a Steam Deck, but I'm very curious to see.
Very difficult for us to buy one.
Exactly, but I'm very curious to see how it is received.
I feel the same. I'm like very curious to see how it performs and what it does, because like hell, if this thing works like and hits in the right way, the second and third gens of this device could be fucking amazing.
Exactly. So, it's like, do I buy a PC or do I buy a Steam Deck?
Yeah, true.
And then last piece of news for this week, Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 raised over $3.4 million, breaking,
love to see it.
I think it's I don't know what the last record was, but it is the highest that they've ever raised in the history of the initiative. yeah, some good runs coming from this year's events. I'm still busy watching a blindfolded Sekiro run.
Yeah.
Because
As
why
you
wouldn't
do.
somebody do Sekiro blindfolded, one of the more challenging games in existence? Cool, man. Yeah, and that is news for this week.
Great news. It's all good.
All good stuff.